Hey guys, it's me, back again. Um, Sorry it's been so long since the last episode. My body decided it would be a really cool thing if right after recording the last episode, well, maybe not right after, but shortly after recording the last episode, that it would be really cool for me to get flu. Not COVID. I almost said COVID. It wasn't COVID. I didn't have COVID. I had the flu. Like the regular flu, which I know, like in modern times, it's crazy getting like the regular flu instead of COVID. But I got the flu. And on top of that, I've been in the middle of a job search lately. So I've been a little busy trying not to die and also trying to not starve. So, but we're back. I'm back. We're so back. It's not over. Um, and today I wanted to actually do what I've been promising to do for the past like 3.5 episodes. Well, I only have like 2 episodes. And that's to actually build the town hall. Now, I have a lot of bricks, and I don't really know if I want to build the town hall out of bricks. But regardless, I do have a lot of them, and I do think they can look good if I do this right. That's where the problem lies, though, is that I never do anything right. I'll talk about what I've done since the last episode here in a second. Um, did I turn my music off? I just gotta remember. No, I didn't. Okay, cool. I haven't done a whole lot since last episode. Um, but like just enough to warrant me talking about it. I guess the first thing is I got a bunch of glass and I crafted these, and then I went to the nether and got a bunch of fireflies so I can make lanterns now. Which I don't know about you, but I think they look really nice, and I think they look better than torches. So did that, made a bunch of those. Um, I finally put some bone meal in the flag, so I think it'll stop shuffling like it always does. Because it's been doing that. I planted some more trees, as you can probably tell. A lot more tree around here. And I built this cactus farm as well. I had these lamps left over, so I was just like, fuck it. But this actually uses a cool new block with Better Than Adventure, which is this, which is the basket, which kind of acts, like I said in the last episode. Was it the last episode? I don't know. One of the recent episodes. That it acts as kind of a dual purpose chest and hopper. So it's very cool. 39 hull cactus, too, which is like not bad, all things considered. So that's nice. The other thing I've done, which, I built this whole path and I never use it, whatever. Maybe once I get minecarts, I'll make that a bit more efficient. But something else I've done, it's down here, you've probably already noticed, but in case you haven't, I've built these kind of bulwarks around all the different kind of uneven areas. And I leveled a couple of different places to be a bit smoother. And I have kind of the town kind of path layout more rigid now. Don't know what I'm going to do up here. I'm thinking, so far what my plan is I think I'm going to build the town hall right here. I don't know if it's going to have exactly this shape. I'm kind of still debating how I want this to look. But I did dig this out. I think I'm going to go ahead and dig this out too. I think I'm just going to have it be square. Because a lot of town halls, as you all probably know, tend to be square. So that is what I think we're going to do here. Let me level this out. But I mainly just dug this out so that there's room for whatever I make the floor out of. Which I'm not sure what I'm going to make the floor out of yet. But, I mean, I got room there now, so. And then over here, I still want to have kind of like a little shopping area or like a little shop district. That's definitely where the lighthouse is going whenever I get around to that. But right here, I really like kind of the shape this makes. So I'm thinking I might build like a little apartment type deal. And I don't mean like modern apartment, I mean like medieval type apartment. You get the idea, where it's like like only a 2 or 3 story structure, and it's got kind of neat little room shaped. I don't know. I'll figure that out. But up here, I'm gonna build a town hall today. So I don't know exactly how I want that to go. I've been thinking about a lot of different kind of design philosophy thingies, about like kind of what materials I want it to be made of, what kind of style I want to go for. The thing I'm kind of going with the most with this town, though, is that I kind of have never really liked the idea of building a town with a theme in mind. Now, that's not to say that I'm one of the people who like mixes like medieval architecture with modern and then pretends there's nothing wrong with that, but I just kind of like, I build what I think looks good. And so I'm not really someone who kind of says, okay, I'm going to build in kind of a a Victorian style or a medieval style or a modern style. I just kind of build whatever I think looks good. And that tends to work out for me. So the first idea that I have is I want there to be kind of a layer of cobblestone. Well, do I want to have it? It's gonna be awfully small. I'm gonna not do it here. I'm gonna build it one out actually. But I want there to be a 2 high cobblestone around the base to kind of give it a sort of like fortified look. I don't know if that makes sense. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. You'll see what I'm kind of doing here though once I've done it. So I want it to be like this, and then I want the front part to have kind of like a little porch area. Not like a porch, but like a palisade, if that's the right word. I don't know if that's the right word. It probably isn't the right word, but you know, whatever. So I want the front. Where's the direct middle of this? I don't actually know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's half of 17. Oh, there is no half. So it's gonna be too wide in the middle. That's fine. It's a courthouse or a town hall. It's supposed to be kind of big. Is that centered? That doesn't feel centered. As a matter of fact, I don't think it is. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There is a 1 center. But for this, I'm going to make it 3. And then we're going to have it come out like that. Whatever. I actually probably didn't need to dig that area out now that I think about it. And then we're going to do this. Because I want the town hall to be like kind of imposing, but not imposing in like a scary way, I guess. I want it to be imposing in like a kind of authoritative looking way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but again, you'll have to wait and see. It'll be fine. So that's good. Like that. And then so what I kind of want is I want this to be like this, and then I want to have maybe some pillars or something here. I don't know built out of what. I'm still deciding that. Like I said, I'm kind of deciding most things as I just sort of go along here, but maybe not even pillars. Maybe we just have a bit of like a roof overhang. 3 like that, and then 3 like that, and then that would be direct middle. Okay. So I'm gonna... Oh, also, I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but let me know what you guys think about the new way I'm kind of speaking and kind of have my microphone to my face. I not to say that I'm like putting on a voice. I'm not. I'm just I'm trying to be a little more relaxed because I've noticed in some of my previous recordings, especially the first couple of episodes, I'm very high energy, and I don't have a problem with high energy. It's just that like Me personally, I get tired of being high energy really fast. And I also just kind of like being kind of calm and collected. I think I only needed 6 stairs, but whatever. Yeah, I did great. Well, that's fine. So I do like the way that looks. I think that's good. Right, need to smelt that. Do I need to smelt that? I don't remember needing to smelt that. Maybe I'm going crazy, I don't know. But, I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually maybe pop the base of the structure out one more, like kind of out here, so that it doesn't do this, because I don't like how flat it is. Man, that fog, is there a way to like turn, I know this is kind of like strange because I was complimenting it. What's this? Whatever. I know I was complimenting it the other day, but I'm wondering if there's a way to turn the fog off, because it's kind of getting annoying with how frequent it happens. I like this mod, don't get me wrong, I find it really good. I think that fog is too common of a thing. It feels like, well, to be blunt, it feels like it happens more than it rains, and that doesn't make sense. Because typically you get fog after or before a rain, you don't get it, you know, like without. No, you can't get fog without rain, don't get me wrong. I live in a region that gets a lot of rain a lot of the time. I'm very well aware that fog can kind of show up whenever, but it's just that with this mod, I don't know, it feels like it kind of happens too much. Some people like that because some people liked the old kind of fog of Minecraft, but I don't know. I kind of find it annoying. It's a cool feature. I think it's definitely a cool weather system that they should keep. It's just like, again, I just think it happens too much. 1, 2, 3, will this work? 1, 2, 3. No, okay. Gonna have to rethink the sides. That's fine. Let's try 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so that works. And then I can just have 2 wide windows for the sides of the building. Okay, interesting. Well, that's fine. I can work that out. No, not like that. That's fine. So I'm kind of thinking I'm going to have the basalt be kind of a framing, and then I'm going to have the actual brick walls behind it, if that makes sense. I'm going for kind of like a Bostonian style town hall courthouse thingy. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope it does. I hope it makes sense. But anyway, back to what I was saying about how I'm talking. I want to make it very clear that I'm, not like putting on a voice or anything. I think that YouTubers that do that are stupid. I think that people that build their whole community, well, stupid might be a bit of a harsh term, but I personally dislike YouTubers who kind of build their whole personality around their voice. Now, there are YouTubers who are like doing cool stuff with their voices that I don't mean to like. Well, if I'm being honest, I'm just kind of talking about Corpse Husband or whatever his name is. No hate to the guy, no hate at all. If you like him, that's your business. I am not telling you shouldn't like him, because from what I tell, he's a pretty cool dude. I don't know. I've never liked the idea of sort of gimmicks for YouTubers. It's like, and again, nothing wrong with YouTubers who have gimmicks and like sticking to them. More power to you. But like, even with this, right? Like, this series has been my most popular thing that I've made on my YouTube channel in a very long time. I think the first episode of this series is the second most viewed thing on my channel, right behind some stupid meme that I reposted off of like iFunny in 2015, something like that. So I am very happy that I can finally stop saying that that's like my most popular thing on my YouTube channel, but on the same token of that, I do want to be very clear that I do not intend to only play Minecraft. And I certainly don't intend to only do one type of kind of long form video. I like experimenting, I like doing new stuff. I mean, this series is an experiment for me, and I'm glad people have been liking it, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna kind of do what I want, and if you like it, I'm happy to hear it, and if you don't, well, sorry, I guess, but I'm still gonna do what I want. I have no real aspirations to become some big popular YouTuber. I mean, don't get me wrong, if it happens, it's great and all, and it's nice, because it means I don't have to work a job that I hate for the rest of my life. But, I have no kind of false narratives about it being, like, easy or anything, and I want to reiterate, I'm not doing YouTube because I have some delusion of grandeur where I think, oh man, I'm gonna get all big and famous, because that's not why I like doing it. I like doing it because I just sort of like having the platform to sort of air out my thoughts. Some people say they like doing it because they like creating stuff. That's great. You know, again, more power to them. For me, I like YouTube because it's kind of a nice place to kind of think out loud, I guess. Clears the mind, I find. If you find yourself, and you know, I'm not your dad, I'm not your therapist. Don't take whatever I say as Bible or anything, but if you find yourself feeling creative and you have some thoughts you want to just kind of shout into the void, and maybe the void will shout back, then I think YouTube's a pretty cool place to do it. I think YouTube's neat. And, like, it's gotten really sloppy nowadays, and I don't mean, like, bad, I just mean, like, actually full of slop. But it's still YouTube. I mean, it's still a platform for people to talk, for better or for worse, because there are some people who have opinions on things they really shouldn't. It's like how I'm not qualified to tell you what you should think politically. I'm not qualified to tell you what you should pursue in life. I'm not qualified to tell you any of those things. And I forget where this quote comes from, so if someone knows, feel free to leave it in the comments, but there's a really great quote I like that says something along the lines, this is probably not a direct quote, but it's something along the lines of, life sucks, and if anyone tells you that it doesn't, they're either ignorant or trying to sell you something. Or, I'm sorry, no. It's something along the lines of, life is hard, and anyone who tells you that they have an easy solution or that it isn't hard is naive or trying to sell you something. At least I think that's how it goes. I don't know if that's actually how the quote goes, but I remember a quote similar to that I like a lot. You'll have to pardon me. I can't really provide more context than that, but it's just, I don't know. I remember hearing it somewhere and it stuck with me, kind of. Not, well, it obviously didn't, considering I can't give you the whole quote right now, but I'll find it. Maybe I'll throw in the actual clip or quotation or whatever in post, but until then, I'm just going to not pretend like I know what I'm talking about, because someone in the comments, if I claim to know exactly what that is or whatever, or I say something along the lines of, oh, this quote's really cool, and then I misquote it, I'm sure that somebody in the comments is going to say something like, oh, you actually quoted that wrong, and you should, like, die, because that's, like, a really good media, and they're probably right, but I'm not claiming to know exactly what it's from, so excuse me. Okay, now for the door. I like the idea of having sort of a little inlet like that, and then having the door. I made slabs mainly because I don't want to, go have to get more wood later, if I'm honest, but, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. Now, although I'm not qualified, what was I even talking about? I don't even remember, whatever. Oh, yeah. I'm not qualified to tell you how to live your life. Nobody is qualified to do that but you. And I know that's cliche, I know it's cheesy, but I have found myself that I think that the best times in life are when you are free to do as you please. And now that doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want, say whatever you want, be whoever you want, because let's face it, in life, there are parts of yourself that you have to cut out. I mean, if you never did, then you would still be that annoying squeaker on Xbox Live that I know you are, Dylan. Somebody watching this, if anyone's watching this, named Dylan, their ears just perked up and they freaked the fuck out. Hi, Mr. Dylan. Nice to have you back from the verge of sleep or from whatever you were doing on your other monitor, because who actually sits and watches someone play Minecraft for like an hour? You ever notice that? How it's like, I've always found that people who like make Minecraft videos, or like videos like I'm doing right now, where they just kind of sit and play the game. I'm kind of a firm belief that nobody actually watches this kind of content. It's like just the perfect background noise, and so everybody just sort of gives it views and clicks, but they like put it on their second monitor to go do something else. Which, you know, I don't care if you do that. Do whatever you want. I'm just a guy making YouTube videos, man. And you're a guy or a girl, I don't discriminate, watching them. So, hi. I hope your day went well today, by the way. Not to be one of those weird YouTubers, I'm not trying to be like Dream or anything, where I call you a kitten and tell you that I love you or anything, but, you know, I hope your day went okay. Having just gotten over the flu, I have had a plethora of terrible days the past week and a half. So, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, I hope you're enjoying it. And if you're listening to this or watching this on a second monitor while you're doing a project or catching up on work reports or something like that, then I hope those aren't too bad. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. I'm not qualified. Man, I ramble a lot, huh? Anyway, I'm not qualified to tell you how to live your life. I'm not even legally old enough to drink yet. I'm 19. Going on. Oh shit, wait, no, I'm 20 now. Fuck. Fuck, that fucks with me, man. So, my birthday's in September. It's not January, but like for me, I don't know if this happens to anyone else, but for me, it always takes like a couple of months for me to click that like, oh shit, I'm not this age anymore, I'm this age now. Maybe that's just me, but it happens to me more than it probably should. Yeah, I like having that little inlet like that, but I'm 20, I can't even drink yet, so for me to be sitting here trying to be your life coach is ridiculous, because there's a good chance that most people watching this have more life experience than I do. I won't lie, I come from a well-off family. Not rich. I'm by no means rich, but I don't really want for anything, and neither does my family. I've had my issues, but again, not trying to be like another Dream or anything where I sit here and blabber about stuff that's way too personal for you, a random stranger, to know on the internet. But all I'm saying is just like, I'm not qualified to tell you how to live your life. I'm not qualified to give you experience. I'm not qualified to give you any sort of advice, other than maybe how to play Minecraft or how to start out on games that I like. I could give you a really good tutorial on how to get started at Hearts of Iron. I love Hearts of Iron, even if it makes me a total nerd. I don't care. The only things I would probably wager myself to be qualified on are blabbing about stupid nerdy shit that I like, or blabbing about things that I know stuff about, like history. I am and always have been a very big history nerd. I've read many, many, many books on many, many different subjects, and I feel like the one thing that I am maybe not officially qualified, but definitely quantitatively comfortable talking about in an informative sense to someone is historical subjects. And again, not to give political advice, because I think that people who only use history as a lens to view the modern world kind of miss the point. And it's a good thing to use history in that context. I mean, it's the whole point of keeping records, right? But I think that if you only use it in that context, you're missing some of the panache of it, if that makes any sense. Maybe, excuse me, I just had a bowl of cereal a little while ago, so I have to forgive the unprofessionalism with the belching and all that, but I'm trying to stifle it so you don't hear it. Sorry if this is gross. It probably is, but whatever. But just like, yeah, I mean, maybe what I'm saying makes sense to some people. Maybe it's total gibberish to everybody. Maybe it makes sense to everybody. I don't know. And you know what? I'm fine not knowing. Because, like I said before, YouTube is just a great way for me to blabber and clear out my headspace. I want to make it known as well that most of these videos, I make them before bed, like very late at night. Currently it's 3:17 in the morning, and I'm sitting here talking to you in a chair in my room, playing Minecraft on a very niche version that nobody plays, except for a very few YouTubers. See, I like that, but I feel like maybe if I do this, it'll look better. Like, kind of do that. Yeah, I think so. And then I'm still not sure what I want to do for the roof. I might, I don't know. I'll figure it out. But either way, it's coming along. But what was I saying? Oh yeah. Like I said before, YouTube is just a good way for me to clear my head. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm not here to tell you what to feel. I'm not here to tell you what you should do. I'm just here to blabber, essentially. And maybe provide something for somebody somewhere that's just like a little bit of stress relief. I don't know. I know that whenever I'm feeling stressed, I always go back and watch old Minecraft videos from my childhood. But, of course, those get repetitive after a while. So maybe some of you put on my YouTube videos before you go to bed. Or while you're trying to go to bed. Or maybe you genuinely are watching my full, uncut, hour-long Let's Plays, you fucking weirdo. No, I'm just kidding. If you do that, that's fine. But, I'm surprised. I'm kind of impressed, because I could never. I'm very hard to keep my attention focused on stuff. I hate bringing it up, because I hate people that use it as an excuse to not do anything, but I do have diagnosed ADHD real bad. So, to those of you who are normal and can sit through like 2-hour long videos without doing something on your other monitor or listening to a podcast, or, well, I don't know how you would listen to a podcast watching a video, but you get what I mean. Just that sort of thing. I salute you. It's good for you. That sounded bitter. I didn't mean it like that. Just genuinely good for you. Yeah, I like this. I need some stairs, but I can do that real easy. I will say that is one thing I like about Better Than Adventure a lot, is that it adds brick stairs. I don't... Actually, are those in vanilla? I don't think they are, now that I'm thinking about it. Maybe they are, maybe I'm just going crazy. I don't know, something like that, probably. Let's try some slabs. How do slabs look? Like that. Nah, that's too top heavy. I'll figure it out. Maybe we try doing it like this, so that it's kind of like a little... that could work. it would need to be higher though. Maybe up one. Like that. Yeah, I like that. That's a nice little entranceway. Now, as for the door, I guess I'll just go with a wooden door. Keep the kind of classic look, you know. And I still gotta do the pillars on this side if I remember correctly. Yes, I do. Did I do? No. Okay, so I stopped at this one. But, yeah, I don't know. And to those of you who have been tuning in recent weeks, I looked today. My first episode is up to 300 views. Which, again, everything I'm about to say is about to sound like the most cliche, like, small YouTuber bullshit you've ever heard. So, if that gets on your nerves, I apologize in advance. But, it is really, I guess, reassuring. Maybe not reassuring. It's affirming, in a way, to have people actually watching these that aren't, you know, friends and or family. Shout out Dad, you're probably watching this at some point. But yeah, I don't know, I appreciate it. To any of you who are watching this shit show. I appreciate it. And, you know, as long as you want it, I'm here for it. So, but again, to reiterate, no grand dreams of stardom or anything like that, just having a fun time. And maybe entertaining a few people while I'm at it. It's good enough to satiate me in terms of YouTubedom. YouTubedom. That's what the word I was looking for, I think. But anywho, as for this town hall, I'm liking the shape that it's taking, but I'm still not sure what I want to do for the roof. Because I know that I want to have an arch encompass it at some point. I just don't know exactly how I want to do that. God damn it. But, yeah, I mean, you know, whatever. I'll figure it out. But, let me know in the comments, any of you who are coming from the last couple of videos and are genuinely, like, here for this series. Let me know if you like me being kind of quieter and more kind of relaxed, or if you like the kind of high energy stuff. I'm down to do whatever. It's just that I think it's better for me to start like this and just kind of do and be kind of mellow the whole video, because I've noticed too, when editing and when sort of going back through the footage and stuff, that like when I lose energy, I get to about this level anyway, and I think that I can go for longer if I start at this sort of kind of calmer and more collected pace and tone. And also I can kind of maintain quality throughout if I do that as well. So I'm liking the way that this is kind of coming together. There's still a couple of things I'm not sure about the roof. I don't know how I'm going to do the roof exactly, but I have a few ideas. The main problem with the roof is that there's no curving stairs. Like, what I mean by that is, like, if I do that and that, this doesn't do the thing where it curves. So using stairs for the roof is going to be tricky, because I don't want to just make like a giant arch or like pyramid, because that's lame, and also it'll look bad. But it's hard to do kind of a cross-sectioned roof. Well, maybe if I just make the roof out of blocks and not use stairs on the top and maybe just the bottom, that might look better. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But in the meantime, back to what I was saying. Yeah, but just let me know in the comments if you prefer me being a little quieter. Because honestly... Oh, I gotta stretch. Hang on. Oh, okay. Sorry. Honestly, I am kind of enjoying this more, because I think it lets me keep my energy up. And in doing so, I can kind of keep talking. Because a problem that I noticed with the last video Excuse me again. Sorry. The problem I noticed with the last video is that, like, the last couple of cuts that I made in the footage, I sort of just, like, you can tell at the end that I was kind of rushing to just get the video done and get it out. And that's not, again, that's not to say that I don't enjoy making videos. It's just that I got tired, but I also didn't want to do a stupid, like, oh, I'll finish this off camera, or I'll finish this in part 2, because I always don't like it when YouTubers make 2 parts to something in a game. Like, if it's a Let's Play, like, that's different. I mean, like, in Minecraft videos, where it's like, oh, I'm starting this project, and here's, like, the first half of it built today, and I'll do the other half tomorrow. Now, of course, that's different if it's, like, something huge, like, going back to the, back to beta SMP that I kind of touched on briefly in my first episode. There's a couple of guys on there that have these huge mega structures that they build, and I mean, like, fucking massive. These guys, it blows my mind how anyone can, like, stay on a single project that long. But they build these huge mega structures, and, like, that's different, right? That's different than, like, my stupid little game theory memorial or monument or whatever. Because, like, those take, I would assume, hundreds of hours to build, if not thousands of hours in some cases. Maybe not specifically on the Back to Beta SMP, but just like mega structures in Minecraft in general, right? So, like, I think it would be kind of egotistical of me to kind of just assume, like, any of the things that I'm building are remotely as cool and or time/resource intensive to where it justifies having, like, a part 2, if that makes sense. I don't know if that does make sense, but I hope it does. I don't know. I just feel like what I'm delivering is very small dose, and it would be kind of wrong of me to waste your time with multiple parts to one build. And also, if you're enjoying the way that a build is coming together and you're enjoying the kind of train of thought that I'm having while building it, it's always annoying for me to force you, or any content creator to force someone to then, like, come back to their browser page and scramble to find a part 2. And honestly, as I've said, I kind of do as I please with this YouTube channel thing. So let's say, like, I start a project or start one of these builds in one video, and then I say, oh, I'll finish it in the next episode, and then I just kind of decide, like, I think I'm done with Minecraft. Then, like, that's like a weird, like, completion satisfaction blue balls that I've now hit you with just because I don't feel like continuing the series. And so I try my hardest, and maybe later down the line, if I start building, like, really big structures, really big projects, then maybe I will do, like, 1 or 2 parts, or not parts, but 1 or 2 multi-part videos. But as it stands right now, I think that it's best for everybody who watches these and for myself if I just do 1 full project per video. And if I get it, like, 90% done and I think, oh, well, maybe there's some touch-ups I can do, I'll just do that off camera, because, like, who cares? Like, with the bridge, when I added the last couple of railings, it's like, did you really want an extra 5 minutes on that video where I go out and I kill zombies for chainmail for, like, 10 minutes? Just so you can, like, see the last couple of blocks placed. Maybe you do. Maybe I'm the weird one, but I don't know. I just feel like that's a waste of your and my time. So I just don't really care to do it. I don't care to do multiple parts to one project. I think ultimately it is a good thing to give every project its own video. Plus, the thing that does as well for you as a viewer is, like, let's say there's a project that I'm doing in a video that doesn't really interest you, but you want to keep watching the series. That means that it's okay if you, like, want to skip a video, right? Because let's say you didn't want to watch me build, like, the game theory monument over there, right? Like, okay, you can just skip that video, and the only thing you're missing is that project, that build right there. And that's fine. And that's why I do that. That's why I try to keep one project per video. Because the other thing is, too, is like, let's say I put out this video, and you don't want to watch me build a town hall. That's perfectly fine. It's your right. But it would make you really mad, and it would also possibly disincentivize you from even bothering to keep up with the series if, like, after this video, the next 2 videos that I put out are me doing part 2 to the town hall, part 3 to the town hall, and then finally finishing it like part 4 or whatever. Like, that does a disservice to you, and it also does a disservice to me because we're wasting both of each other's time here. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, why do all that when, like, none of my projects in this world are big enough to warrant multiple parts? And also, most of the time, people who do that are just kind of stretching out the runtime of their video because they want ad revenue. And guess what? I don't run ads on this channel. Any advertisement you see, that money is going straight to YouTube. I don't have ads or anything like that. Don't have AdSense. I don't know if that's the correct terminology, but either way. Because for those of you that don't know, for those of you who don't ever bother making anything on YouTube, in order to get ads, you need at least 1,000 subscribers. At least that's what it was the last time I checked that. Again, not that I'm doing YouTube for, like, the hopes of getting famous or big or money or anything, but just looked into it. Because, like, you know, if I could make some spare money off of YouTube, that'd be great. But, like, again, not my objective. But all I'm saying is, what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. Whatever. Something, wasting your time. Wasting your time, yeah. And some people just kind of do those multiple parts to a project that they know people are going to like watching because they know it pads out the runtime, and therefore they get more ads. And that's fine. You know, no hate to people that do that. It's kind of what you have to do if you are one of those YouTubers who makes a living off of YouTube. But I don't know. It's just one of those things that's never really appealed to me, I guess. Maybe, and you know, maybe if I do get big on YouTube and, you know, 3 years down the line, someone points back at this video and says, oh, but he's doing part 2s and parts 3 now. Listen, bud, this is, like, not a binding contract thing. And if I do eventually start doing that, I probably will acknowledge it publicly. But, again, I'm nowhere near popular enough for that to even be something I need to worry or think about. I tend to find in life, and again, not qualified to give you life advice, but this is just something that I've found in my own life, and maybe you'll find some sort of use in it, but I found that if there's something that is non-essential to your life, and it requires a shitload of brain power to think about, for instance, interpersonal relationships, whether that be romantic or friend-wise, if that relationship is not quintessential to your well-being, i.e. like a partner date-wise, or like a best friend who, like, you don't know what you would do without, and you kind of have to force yourself to do these sort of mental gymnastics to justify why you should, like, let's say you don't really like someone in your friend group, right? Well, maybe not even in your friend group. Maybe you just, like, know somebody that you don't like, right? And they repeatedly do things that upset you, but they keep apologizing, or they keep kind of making peace with you. Not even necessarily apologizing, because there are plenty of people that, you know, you can make things up with without either of you ever apologizing. Because sometimes it is nobody's fault. And I'm kind of referring specifically to those sorts of instances here. I'm not just saying general arguments. But sometimes, if there's someone that you genuinely just can't seem to get along with, but they keep apologizing or keep trying to make things right, if there is no real change from either of you, and I'm not even saying necessarily that you're always in the right, because thinking that you're always in the right is stupid. And that is a hill that I will die on. Thinking you are always in the right is dumb, and you should never do it, because part of being human is being wrong, and part of being wrong is accepting that you're wrong. And that's a really hard thing for people to do. I have a problem with it especially, and so I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm some sort of saint who's never been wrong about anything, because, again, stupid. But if there's someone that you simply can't get along with, even though you both like want to try to make it work, sometimes it's not worth the mental effort of essentially gaslighting yourself into liking someone. Sometimes it really is just easier to say, I don't like this person, and that's okay. And again, I'm not trying to be your life coach. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, and don't treat me as some sort of authority on the source. But, or on the subject, rather. But, sometimes in life, you have to just accept that there are people who don't like you and that you don't like. And kind of just move on. Which is a hard fact of life that I think, especially in the West, we try to refute. Because we have this sort of, especially in the United States, I think we sort of, and I'm not going to get like super political or anything, don't worry. I'm not about to turn this into like a Hassan video or nothing, but I think that especially in the United States, we have this weird sort of like moral superiority complex where we kind of pretend that there's always a solution to something where both people walk away happy, or that there's always a solution to something where both people can come to at least a compromise, but sometimes there just isn't. You know, sometimes you just have to accept the fact that like you don't like certain people and they don't like you. And that's not anything commentary wise on like that's not a commentary on like any political issues. I'm not sitting here saying that about like Republicans and Democrats or anything like that. I just mean like sometimes there are people, and I mean that singularly, most of the for just for the record, that you just can't get along with. And sometimes there are people that you'll always get along with. And it's okay to just have your reason for not liking someone be, I just don't like them. Now, again, that doesn't really entitle you to be an asshole. It doesn't entitle you to go around, you know, on your first interaction with somebody saying, I don't like you. Or saying, like, oh, I think that this is one of those people that I just can't get along with. Because it takes more than just speaking to someone for the first time to know whether or not you can get along with them. But if you're finding yourself maybe at interaction, you know, 10, 11, 12 with this person and you're still not finding anything in common or anything positive about each other, sometimes it's okay to just be like, yeah, I don't work with this person. And that's alright. Like, it's okay to not always have an answer. It's okay to not always be able to come to a compromise. It's okay to tell yourself that you're incompatible with somebody. Because I think that, again, something that we have a problem with in the West, and especially in America, and not to sound like a chud, I don't want to be all like, oh, the West is falling, billions must die, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not saying that or anything, but like, I think that especially in the United States, we have this problem where we assume that every single conflict, whether it be militarily, interpersonally, geopolitically, etc., can have a democratic and appeasing solution that everyone can walk away with happy. And the fact of the matter is that that's just not the case. It just can't be. Because if it was the case, then there'd be world peace right now. But the fact of the matter is there are some solutions to problems that just require you to say, like, there is no solution. There's a lot of wars that are fought all over the world where we kind of idealize or ideologically kind of fraternize with this idea that, like, how can I put this? That every single person on the planet thinks the way that we do. And that every single person, if given the chance, will kind of vie for a solution where everybody walks away happy. But I think the hardest thing that we have to accept, not only as a culture but as an individual, is that sometimes there genuinely is just no solution that doesn't involve somebody getting the shaft or somebody just simply not being able to be gotten along with, I guess. And I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know at all if that makes any sense. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that on a very small interpersonal level, it's okay to kind of say to yourself, I just can't get along with this person, and leave it at that. You don't have to have an answer. It's okay to not know. It's okay to not have a definitive solution on something. It's okay to just say, as I've said many times, it's just not working out. And it just can't work out. And it just won't work out. Because sometimes that's just the way it is. And again, not your life coach. And I'm probably not even qualified to be talking about stuff like this, because this is like really fucking heavy shit. 5, 6, 6 out from the middle. So, you know what, we're just gonna call it that there. But, wait a minute. Is this off center? Because on that side, no, it's not. Okay. But yeah, I'm probably not qualified to be babbling about any of this, but, I don't know, just food for thought, I guess. I think that it all plays back to that thing where sometimes you have to admit that you're wrong. Because you're not always right about everything. No one is. It's also why, like, as a young voting age man, I kind of despise the idea of political parties, because I think they cause nothing but trouble, because all they are think tanks. And it doesn't matter what party you subscribe to, it's true of both of them in the United States, and if you're watching in England or some other parliamentary system, any of the political parties that you guys have, any political parties that anybody has, are nothing but think tanks where people come together and circle jerk themselves because they think that they're like the know-it-alls of the universe. And well, it is true that both parties in the United States, at least, and again, I'm not trying to lecture as if I know everything about this. Again, I'm some fuckwit on the internet who is not qualified to talk about any of this. But personally, in my opinion, which is something that everybody is entitled to, I think that political parties do more harm than they do good. Now, again, both parties in the United States, at least, do have good points that they both make. I won't spout any here because I'm sure that'll start a firestorm in the comments. Well, maybe not a firestorm. Again, not nearly popular or viewed enough for that to happen. But would still, I'm sure, somebody would say something, and then someone else would say something else, and then it just rolls downhill from there, as it always does. But all I'm really saying is that both sides make some good points, but to say that objectively one side is always correct and the other is always wrong is always a bad opinion. Just plain and simple. It's not a good way to go about it. And in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. But yeah, I don't know. Just think for yourself, regardless of what direction that may be. Don't listen to think tanks, including social media. Don't get all of your information from a group of like-minded friends on Twitter or Instagram or iFunny or whatever. And anyone who uses iFunny, you know what I'm talking about. Especially iFunny, actually. Don't get all of your information and ideas, especially from iFunny, but from all of those places. Don't surround yourself. I'm liking the way that looks, actually. Oh, son of a bitch. Don't surround yourself only with people who think like you. It's, I think, one of the many. Excuse me, I had to itch my face. But I think it's one of the very many blessings of the internet is that it gives you the ability to interact with people that you otherwise would not have any way of communicating with. It gives you insight into places that you will never visit. It lets you talk to people that if it were not for the internet, you would never speak to and never be able to get their opinion or viewpoint on anything. And I think that one of the problems we're having, especially nowadays with the internet, again, I don't want to sound like a boomer or anything. I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, nowadays the kids and the internet or anything. But just like, I do think one of our biggest problems is that the internet, when it could have been used since its conception, and still can be if we start fixing it, can be used to expose people to different opinions and different ideologies, and sort of allows us to branch beyond our comfort zone. I really like that, actually. It's coming along really, really well. And sort of say, look, I may not agree with this person. I may not think like them, but I can at least gather some insight from what they have to say. And I think that that's something that more people ought to try. Because, again, the problem with political parties is not that one is objectively correct and one is objectively wrong, and everyone on one side is incorrect and everybody on the other is correct, because that's stupid. It's a dumb mentality. And if you think like that, I'm sorry to say, but you might be stupid. Even if you think, right, that every single thing that the opposing party stands for is evil or morally wrong or corrupt, there is at least one good point in there that you would probably agree on. And again, I'm not speaking to one party here, I'm speaking to both of them. Or speaking at both of them, rather, because I'm not really speaking to it. You get what I'm saying. But the point is that allegiance and the refusal to listen to something, blind allegiance to a political party, and the refusal to talk or listen to anybody on the other side of the tracks is and always will be how civil infighting starts within a country and eventually leads to things like civil war or the dissolving of a nation, or at the very least a totalitarian state within said nation that discriminates horribly against members of said nation based on nothing but political, religious, or ethnic orientation. Some great examples. Saddam Hussein, that Austrian painter whose name you're not allowed to say on YouTube, Benito Mussolini, Joseph Stalin, and all of the following heads of state of the Soviet Union. It's just any person who exists. Let me rephrase that. Any state that exists in such a state at which neither side is willing to listen to the other will always either fall into complete disarray or fall into the hands of a totalitarian regime that discriminates based on political opinions or race or ethnicity. I mean, that's just evident throughout all of history, which ties back to what I was saying earlier, where it is good to understand that using the lens of history. But there are other things to be gathered from history, like origins and the mistakes of the past. And as I've said already many times, it shouldn't just be used as a lens to view our mistakes, because history is more than just that. It's kind of a bit of bookkeeping for the human race, if you will. And so it's important to hold on to it as well, just so that we know where we specifically came from. For instance, I'm an American. It's important to know that we were a British colony and that we seceded and formed a union of states, had a bunch of infighting politically over whether states' rights or federal rights were more important. And I'm not talking about just the Civil War. The Civil War was, for a very large portion, about slavery. Cry about it, Confederates, but or rather Confederate wannabes. I'm a very politically open-minded person, but I don't know. I think anybody who says disunion like that, and I want to be very clear, I'm not using that super loosely. I'm not blanketing any political affiliation with that phrase, and I specifically am not talking about people who fly Dixie, the flag. I think that not all of those people are Confederate sympathizers. I think that some people use that flag as a symbol of heritage. Now, there are people who do use that flag as a symbol of racism and a symbol of extremism and a symbol of what the fuck am I even looking for? Oh yeah, I need more basalt. Time to go mining. I think I'm gonna leave this mining segment in. I'm on a good rambling bit right now, so I'm just gonna keep it going. And if it falls flat, then oh well, I'll stop. But anyway, back to what I was saying about this country. It's important to know as an American your heritage, your culture, why certain people feel the way they do, why certain people don't feel that way. I mean, even the Republicans and the Democrats can be traced as far back as to right after the Federalist and Anti-Federalist parties were set up in the government. I mean, there's that quote that every mom on Facebook who knows nothing about politics beyond who they support quotes saying like, "Oh yeah, you know," it was like a Thomas Jefferson quote that basically warns against political parties, and at least I think it was Thomas Jefferson. You'll have to excuse me if I misquote that. I'm not entirely sure if it was him. It was either him or one of the John Adams. I don't remember which one. One of those people, something like that. One of the founding fathers is what I'm trying to get at. Basically warned against political parties and that they would be the death of the United States, etc., etc. But it's true. Political parties have been around in this country for the longest time, and a lot of the beliefs of the modern parties, being Republican and Democrat, can be traced very, very far. Now, it is strange because a lot of people who are Republicans are very quick to point out whenever Democrats bring up issues of racial inequality within the country. And again, I'm not going to weigh in on that because it's not my place, regardless of whoever's side I would take, because it's not my place to virtue signal as a white guy the struggles and the tribulations of African Americans within the United States. And it's also not my place as a fairly moderate political person to say that there's no such thing as racism, etc., etc. Because no matter what side of the argument you weigh in on, there's going to be someone who's going to be abhorrently angry at you about it. Because if I sit here and say, oh, well, racism's all in the head, then, like, duh, people are going to get mad about that because that's, well, racism is a thing. I mean, to say that racism doesn't exist is wrong, but to also say that it's everywhere and in everything is also wrong. There's truths to both sides of that statement, but to use it either way as a blanket is wrong. There have been very many, well, I won't get into any more of that, but all I'm saying is, like, the Republican Party, the modern Republican Party, is very quick to point out that their opinions have swapped, or at least their perceived opinions have swapped since the Civil War, being that the Democrats were the ones in favor of slavery and that the Republicans were the ones who were against slavery. And on the flip side, there are many Democrats who are very quick to point to slavery and the Civil War as grounds for certain reparations to African Americans within the United States. And so part of the importance of knowing history as well is knowing how all that applies. But the other thing that's important about knowing about history is that you can understand what the other side is saying even if you disagree, right? Because I think the most, when I say it like that, I think the most dangerous thing when it comes to history is looking at it through a biased lens where you only apply your opinions to it. It's like a non-controversial political opinion that I can share. I think it's not very controversial to say that global warming is a real thing. Or, well, actually, no. Let's scrap that. I think it's not a very controversial opinion to say that pollution is a real and imminent danger. Let's not even go as far as ecological disaster with global warming, because that can be a very heated topic. Let's just say something that everybody can agree with. Pollution is a problem. where does pollution really begin on a human scale? Well, if we want to be very technical about it, you could say that pollution has been around ever since the dawn of mankind, when we would eat animals and leave their bone scraps behind. But if we're looking at it from a practical approach, pollution really starts to become an issue when you get to the industrial era. Um, Large scale machinery and manufacturing of toxic substances such as early polymers and plastics produce a lot of byproduct and waste that cannot be recycled or used into other things, which is when you get the kind of soot, black, and ash and kind of smoggy smoke that covered London in the I'm not sure if it was the late 1700s or early 1800s, but London, in case you didn't know, was very briefly for a time covered in a very thick black fog that was caused by industrial waste. And it was so bad that once the fog had cleared, the kind of buildings of London proper had to be hosed down because they had been covered in this kind of sooty black substance. Some people are convinced that it was coal ash and unfavorable wind conditions or what have you. Some people think it was, the byproduct of all of these factories spewing a bunch of smog and soot and crap into the air. It was creepy, et cetera, et cetera. And so you can apply that original argument about, oh, well, is it coal ash and soot, or is it chemical waste that is kind of condensing in the rain and in the clouds and being rained back down onto London, etc. Now, of course, coal and soot are going to play a factor in both of those scenarios, regardless of which you believe it to be. But you get what I'm saying, where it's like pollution in and of itself, and that's a very small scale argument for what I'm trying to say here. Maybe I'm not doing a very good job of getting my point across, but my point is that, like, you can compare and contrast that pretty heavily with modern arguments about, like, climate change, right? Where it's like, oh, well, is the Earth actually getting warmer because of, like, CO2 gas and carbon monoxide and dioxide and human pollution and plastics and cars? Or is it a natural heating and cooling cycle that the Earth goes through, and that liberals are overreacting, and that there's no real imminent danger? It's like these arguments have been had before, and there's a reason that the Republican Party tends to say that climate change is not as serious of a threat as the Democrats say it is, and there's a reason that the Democrats say that it's more of a real and imminent threat than the Republicans say it is. Because both sides have kind of founded themselves on the very similar issue way back in the, Industrial Revolution. Again, not saying that that's based upon what I'm talking about with London. That was maybe a poor example, but my point stands of these issues, and the reason that parties feel the way they do about them is because it A, aligns with their voter base, but it B, also aligns with kind of historically their party's stance on these things. And ever since the Industrial Revolution, there has not really been so much crazy advancement, at least in my opinion, other than maybe the internet, in which these parties have had to radically convince their voting bases that a change is necessary. Some say that's a good thing, some say it's a bad. But the fact stands that, like, even with things like the advent of the internet, like, the modern political parties have not really caught up. I mean, when was the last time, other than, like, the FCC and, like, I'm forgetting the name of what it was. It was like internet rights, essentially, where it stated, like, you can't throttle network speeds and all that. Internet, fuck, this was like an issue I actually cared about like 4 years ago when it was happening, with the Indian American guy who was the head of the FCC, and everybody was making fun of him because he made all those really shitty PSAs saying, like, oh no, internet equality or whatever isn't important, don't worry, and then everybody made fun of him for it. That was one of those times where, like, people, regardless of political affiliation, seemed to come together, which was nice. I do think that as an American, I'm impartial to enjoying those moments when people kind of put aside their differences and say, like, yeah, this is a problem. Because I don't think it's something that happens enough, not even just in the United States, but just all over. If more people could just, like, see past the arbitrary lines that we draw for ourselves, then the world would be a much better place for everybody. Of course, that's very much a kind of dreamer way of looking at things. You can't simply say, oh, everybody get over yourselves, because, like, when has anyone ever gotten over themselves, really? It's either you're forced to get over yourself, which is the most common occurrence. You realize you're being a dick and actually get over yourself, which is the least common occurrence, or nothing gets done on the issue, which is the most common occurrence. Or second most, or whatever I said a minute ago. I don't know, whatever. But you get my point, where it's like, a lot of the issues we have would not be issues if everybody could just set aside their egos for like 5 minutes and actually look at the facts. And again, I'm not saying that to target any political party. I'm saying it to both of you, you naughty things. That sounded creepy. Disregard. But I'm saying that to both political parties in the United States, and wherever you're from watching this, if that is not the United States, if you're Canadian, then fuck you. Fucking hate you. No, I'm kidding. Canadians are cool, but you are a top hat, so sorry about that. Or as you would say, sorry about that. Anyway, with my acceptable racism out of the way because it's Canadians, I'm going to get back to what I was talking about, which was if people could get over their egos. And that's not directed towards any particular political party. It's directed at all of them because you're all just awful. So, well, and when I say all, I don't mean individually all of you. I'm speaking in broader terms to the ideas of political parties. You get what I mean. You're smart people. You know what? No, that sounds pandery, calling you all smart. Some of you probably aren't smart. Some of you probably are really smart. Some of you are probably smarter than me. In fact, I would dare say a lot of you are probably smarter than me. But anywho, all I'm really getting at is just be kind, I guess. Is that the point I'm making here? You know, I'm gonna be real, folks. I don't know what my point is here. I'm just kind of rambling, seeing where my brain takes me. It's a fun time. You should try it sometime. But I don't really have a point. Derive your own meaning. Maybe you think what I'm saying is bullshit. Maybe you think what I'm saying is smart. Maybe you think that I just sound like a schizophrenic. But regardless of what you think, it's just my opinion. And at the end of the day, as I've stated many times, I have no qualifications to try and change your mind about things. I have no qualifications to tell you how to live your life. And I certainly don't have any qualifications to talk like I'm a political science major. But the only thing that I can recommend that I have seen in my own personal experience that works is sometimes it's better to just not dwell on things. Sometimes it's better to just let things go. Whether that's between governments, between friends, between nations, between peoples. Excuse me, sorry for coughing right in your ear. It's just better sometimes to just let things go. And I know that, again, that's idealistic and not practical, but you know what? Sometimes it's okay to be a little idealistic. Just a little, not too much. If you get too much into being an idealist, you get to be a hippie. And if there is one group of people in the world that I don't like, it's hippies. Because they contribute nothing to society, and then they complain about society. Oh God, I'm getting political. Someone shoot me. Someone shoot me now. Shoot me in the head. Kill me right now, please. I'm going to stop myself before I get political. What's something I can derail this into? Derailing trains, video games. There's this really... no, that is kind of how my brain works. I'm going to be real with you. Everything that I ramble about is completely disjointed, and I have no real train of thought other than just where I go. Trains. That's a great segue. I got into this game. Oh man, you can hear me breathing, can't you? Oh, that's gonna sound just great in post, I'm sure. But I got into this game not recently. This was like at least a couple of months ago now, and I haven't touched it for a while. But I got into this game semi-recently called Railway. What was it called? It was called like Railway Simulator. It wasn't actually called that. It was called like what was it? I don't think it was Tycoon. I don't remember what it was, frankly. This is embarrassing, but either way. No, I think it was Railway Tycoon 2. But it was a cool game about building railroads. That gave me an appreciation for steam engine locomotives. Completely random, I know, but I just don't really feel like getting political beyond what I already have. Mainly because, again, not qualified to tell you people what to think. And people who assume that they know best are typically very foolish. Now that's a quote you can quote me on, because I'll stand by that statement any day of the week. God. Fucking damn it, I need more basalt. Great! I might expand upon the town hall later, but I think it's coming along nicely. And we're... How far are we into this? An hour and 15. So, going good at a good pace. I will definitely get this done tonight. I want to kind of maybe add a spire right there in the middle, but I feel like... I don't know, I feel like that's kind of a bit too much, but it also looks kind of too dinky to be like a town hall. You know what I mean? It needs some sort of... I know what to do, actually. I know exactly what I want to do. Because I know how to kind of give it some charm, some character, if that makes sense. Let me sit up a bit. Ouch. Sorry if I just blew your eardrums out there, folks. I realized that was probably loud. Why did my voice do that? I think I've been talking for too long. Happens sometimes. Happens to the best of us, but if I wake up tomorrow and I've lost my voice, I'm going to be pissed. I have a job interview in the morning, so... yeah, not looking forward to showing up to that sounding like I'm dying. If that happens, I'm going to be very upset, and I'm blaming all of you, because I've stayed up late. Well, maybe not in the morning. It's more like I have a job interview in, like, the late afternoon. It's like 2 p.m., so... Before all of you freak the fuck out about me being up so late before a job interview. Also, what are you, like my mom? But no, it's fine. I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'm just chilling. But, you know, that's just the way it goes, I suppose. That rhymed, and I didn't mean for it to. Yeah, I like that. It's a quaint little town hall. I didn't want it to be anything big and boisterous. Is that the right word? I think it's the right word. I hope it's the right word, because otherwise some guy in the comments is going to be like, you're an idiot. Which, if you are that guy, I know. Trust me, I know. I've skirted around politics so very, very carefully this episode. It would be honestly a bigger surprise to me if nobody called me an idiot. Let me rephrase that. I've tried to skirt around politics so carefully this episode that I'd be more surprised if nobody called me an idiot. Because there have been some things that I've said this episode I'm pretty sure could get me into some hot water with some people. But, again, my opinion. So, sorry if you don't like it. It's just the way I think. Let's see here. That is the roof done. Very cool. Very poggers. I think for right now I'm just going to put a lantern there and I'll add a tower later. Because now Number one, I gotta get rid of this wooden scaffolding like that. It's driving me crazy. Yeah, I like that, actually. I think that looks good. Oh, didn't mean to do that just yet. Let me back up a little. Maybe get up on this hill. I'm not done, don't worry. Episode's not over. Just getting a look at it. I'm gonna wait for the snow to stop before I try to take a picture. Because it is getting on my nerves. Quite a lot. Now, for the inside, I kind of want to try like a little cross-beamy thing like this. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bop. And I know typically you do timbering with wood, but I feel like this structure being kind of all brick would look better like this. And then I can actually do this as well. And then I'm actually, so this might look a little bit goofy, but I'm gonna try doing this because I have a plan for this wall that I want to try out, like that, and like that. And that works out. So I have a bunch of bookshelves from those dungeons, and because I need to do something to kind of cover up the inlet of the door here, I'm thinking maybe. So I know what I want to do for like the town hall. I want there to be a little podium sort of deal here. This and that, and not like that. Well, actually, just to get rid of all the excess resources that I have for this. That, and then like bam, bam, and then bam. And, you know what, let's actually, how does this look? Not terrible, actually, which is saying something for me. And then, I think I can just do that, right? Yeah, that looks fine. I think, oh yeah, you can just pick up lanterns. Cool. So that looks good. And then bang, bam, bang. And then in the corners too, just to really light up the room. Like that. And like that. Yeah, and then I'm gonna put seating in this room. I want this to kind of be like a little community hall. I know I said town hall, but I want this to be like a speaking podium. And then I want there to be like seating, if that makes sense. I want this to be like a little chamber of government instead of just like a weird totalitarian looking structure. Oh, cozy. I like that. So I'm gonna go get some wood and make some stairs and maybe some signs too. I think that would look cool. And then yeah, so I actually also have an idea for how I want the seats to be arranged, because I want there to be different types of seats in different areas of the floor to kind of represent like the different seats of government. Because like I want there to be like the common floor, which is like where all the like regular people sit, and then I want there to be like a couple of chairs at the front facing that way, and then the podium where like the speaker sits. And it's not really based off a system of government so much as I'm thinking in the terms of like a town hall here, where it's like you have the members of the board of like the town kind of committee or whatever, like Parks and Rec commissioner and the mayor and all that, and then you have them like sitting facing the people who actually come to town hall meetings, which like who does that? But if you do, good for you. Good for you for partaking in your local government. Frankly, local government is more important than regional government, but you didn't hear that from me. Now let's see here. Okay, cool. So I actually don't need super many of these. Is there only one type of sign? Yes, there is. Okay, so I'll use the rest of these to make signs. It's probably still not enough, so we're gonna make some more out of the wood planks that are left. And then toss in one pink plank too. That's probably good. And then we're gonna make a bunch of pink stairs. Okay, that's probably good. Sun's going down. I'm gonna sleep. And then I think come the morning, we're gonna be pretty much done. Guys, we're gonna be done with this episode. If the snow stops. I don't think the snow is stopping. Great. That is just fan-friggin-tastic. It does seem to be lessening, though. So that's good, I guess. You know what? It may not be the most glamorous town hall, but it does look good. I do like it. And you know what? That's good enough for me. I don't need glamour. I don't need glitz. I don't need to stay at the Ritz-Carlton and eat caviar out of a tin. I'm happy with my little shanty town, and I'm happy that you guys are liking it. So this is where, like, I think, like, the town committee sits up here, right? Where they, like... Oh, that works. This is where, like, the government members sit, if that makes sense. Like, they sit in these chairs, and they wait for their turn to speak at the podium. And then, when it's their turn to get up and speak, they get up and they walk up there, and they say their piece, and then they sit back down at their little chairs. And then, out here, they're there. Out here is where, like, all of the members of the town sit, if that makes sense. Maybe not this close. It's kind of creepily close. Let's do... no, I need 3 because I need to have space for the signs. So, and then... So this is where, like, the people of the town can sit, if that makes any sense. Like, they can sit in these sort of pew-looking things and have uproars and stuff. And then the nosebleeds can be back here. For those who, like, want to get the scoop but don't really want to spend time actually debating anything. They just kind of want to watch. Which political spectating can actually be very interesting if you're a nerd like me. But if you're not, then you probably think this is stupid and a waste of time, which frankly I agree with you. But, you know, whatever. And 2 more, or sorry, 4 more, rather, because I've got to do both sides. Sorry if you heard that. That was my fat fucking cat jumping down from the couch behind me. He is a hefty boy. He's not actually fat. His mother was a bobcat, so he's a very large cat, but he's not fat. And I know that sounds like cope, but he genuinely is big boned, so, you know, whatever. Yeah, that's nice. I like this. You can kind of stand up here and kind of do your little spiel and sit down over here when you're done. And then the people can sit out here and kind of watch. It's nice. I like that. I think overall this build has actually turned out a lot better than I was expecting it to. Maybe this is a better screenshot here, actually. If I just, like... Oh, yeah, that's actually a good thumbnail. I like that. Okay, well. I think that's going to do it for today, guys. I'm pretty beat, and it's currently 4:19 in the morning. So, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And, yeah, I mean, I'll see you next time. And, if you did like it, you know, I appreciate likes, I appreciate subscribes, and I appreciate comments. So, anything you want to say, even if it's to call me an idiot, you know, just say it. And if not, then, why did you stick around this long, dude? It's been, like, you just wasted, like, an hour and, 30 minutes of your life, man. That sucks. Like, that really sucks. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing, like, the YouTuber zoom and punch thing. I'm just gonna stop talking. Alright. Bye-bye.